Hello everyone, here's a very interesting video on YouTube from 9 News Australia. What is 9 News Australia? It's an Australian news channel. It's not a gaming channel. And you can find already reactions on Spectrum. Some people believe this means Squadron 42 gets released in 2026. Link to this video is my first pinned comment below. Let's take a look.
It's one of the most ambitious video games ever made. It's also one of the most expensive.
It's partly because the game itself expanded in terms of ambition.
Well, the game expanded because you, Chris, added more and more features. And many of those features are still not in the game, and many that are in a very sorry state. Thrown into the game, half-assed at best, never touched, never improved. See, for example, refueling.
Think about this for a moment. The game is now feature complete, but it's only feature complete until I decide to add more features.
It's been in the making for 14 years. It's still not fully released, but it's never been closer to liftoff than today.
You have your typical journalist speech. It is still not fully released if you're talking about Squadron 42, because so far you only showed Squadron 42 footage. It's not released at all. And a sentence like, it's never been closer to liftoff than today, it's really, really lame. You can say the same thing 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years from now. This means nothing.
Chris Roberts has been designing video games for over 40 years.
Well, there are huge gaps in those 40 years when Chris Roberts was not working on video games. For example, when he worked on his failed limousine service, and when he worked on his failed movie director career. And back in the days when Chris Roberts actually released games, he always had people looking over his shoulders, for example Warren Spector and Richard Garriott. Microsoft had to remove Chris from the game Freelancer to actually finish the game.
Whips, chains, total bastard. Total bastard. Unbelievable.
No, it is interesting though, and there are different ways. You know, what's funny is there was a cartoon that I'm sure Warren remembers too that included me, Warren, and Chris Roberts, and our different management styles, and the pitfalls of each of them, and the insult to they were all insulting, and the insult to Chris Roberts was game designed by decree, which really was the way Chris Roberts operated. In many respects. I mean, Chris Roberts, the good part about Chris Roberts was when he'd had the vision for what a wing commander was going to be, and he came and sat down and pitched it to us all, we all went, damn, he's right, it's going to work. I mean, he could describe it in a way that you just knew he was right and it was going to work. And so everybody, we invested in it because he was right and it did work. The downside of that is that when you went to work with Chris Roberts, you did everything exactly the way he said to do it, period, or you were fired almost immediately. No second chances. I mean, he was very explicit with what he wanted, and you either did it that way or you were not part of his team.
I literally heard him say, make that pixel blue, not green.
And yeah, I mean, so it was a place where only certain individuals could survive it. I mean, they had to be, one, very talented, but on the other hand, they also had to be very subservient in their demeanor, if you know what I mean.
If you asked me when I started this, if you'd be talking to me 14 years later, it's still not finished, and but everyone is going stronger than ever, and there's more and more people than ever that are playing it and supporting it, I would have probably thought you were crazy, but here we are 14 years later, and it's still going strong.
Chris, if you mean the funding is still going strong, I have to agree with you, but this does not mean that the game is going strong. You actually made the game way worse in the last 3 years. For example, Murky, Green, Universe and Stanton, for example, Master Mode, etc.
Roberts has also been working on a single-player campaign, Squadron 42.
Squadron 42 for me really is if I had a really big budget and lots of time, and wanted to make my ultimate version of Wing Commander.
While Roberts has yet to put a date on it, Squadron 42 is almost there and could be released as soon as this year.
Well, Squadron 42 is almost ready and could be released this year. We are hearing the same thing for the last 10 years. Please watch my outro.
Yes, it's taking some time, but the people that are in the community that are supporting it, they're it's not like a traditional publisher relationship where they're, you know, like, okay, we got to get it out for the quarterly earnings. We want to drive our revenue by this, or a private equity firm that wants a return on its money. The return on the investment for the community is the best game possible.
Yeah, the good old rush game will always be bad, but if you wait a little bit, if you spend more time developing a game, it can be much, much better. So the flaw in this logic is, do I want to wait 20 years for the perfect game, or am I happy with a game that only is developed for like 5 years, but still a very fun game? Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye, auf Wiedersehen.
It's called a rear admiral. That sounds kind of nasty, but I am a rear admiral. And so that'll get me, obviously, the finished game, the RSI Constellation, this Millennium Falcon, and maybe I can convince some of my friends like, you know, Spoonie or other Joe to be crew in it. We can go and travel the galaxy together and make funny videos about our encounters and shit. So that'll be pretty fun. I mean, this game looks to be really fucking amazing. So I'm gonna go ahead and pledge. So if you want to be in the alpha and the beta for the game that comes out, they're estimating hopefully to have it out by November 2014. Obviously that's a long time away, but for a project like this, I want them to take as much time as they need and make it as badass as possible and create the ultimate space game with a fully fleshed out universe and mythos.
Tell me, tell me, tell me lies. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Tell me lies, tell me lies.
As you may have guessed, and Brian Chambers may have let slip a bit earlier, we are feature complete on Squadron 42.
Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter or on Blue Sky.